Hello and welcome. My name is Ali. I am the owner and founder of Goff Legal, and this video is to help you determine who to name as the guardians of your children. We get this question a lot. One, I don't know who to name, and two, who do we put where? So let's do a little bit of education and distinctions. First, guardianship of the person is the people that you trust to raise your children in the event that you're not able to. They care for their person. They take them to the doctor. They decide where they go to school. They make sure that they're fed and cared for. Then there's guardianship of the estate. That is someone who would function in a more money managerial role. They would make sure that they have enough, shelter, that they've got enough food, that someone is paying for the expenses, education. Perhaps when they get older, they turn 16, they need a car to get to their job. That person is in charge of the money. Guardian of the person, guardian of the estate. You're going to be asked, who do you want to name as the guardian of the person? And who do you want to be named as guardian of the estate? Which is also sometimes going to be the same person as a trustee. If you have a trust, these money people are often the same. It just really makes sense that way. Who do you choose? Very personal, very important question. Some things I'd like you to think about in terms of determining who might best serve in this role. One, are they going to be around when your kids are of the age that you might not be around? Sort of a weird way of saying, do you want someone who is your parent that is in their 70s or 80s? Or maybe you might want to select someone who is in their 20s or 30s, who is a little younger and has a little more energy. Second question, who is nearby, right? Sometimes the most important thing for us to think about when we're gone, who's going to raise our kids, is how can I preserve their life to the best of our ability? So that might mean finding a guardian in the geographical area so your kids don't have to move schools just because you've passed away. Now, there's no requirement that you have to pick someone in the area, but do consider that that might be a factor. And then the third thing, which I think is also incredibly important, is their values. Are they going to raise your child or children in the same manner that you would? Do they value the same things? Do they have the same religion? Do they value education, adventure, independence? Whatever it is, there's no judgment around it. You just want to maybe find someone or some people who can help make those decisions for you. So think about those three things. I also recommend you come up with 3 names. Not always possible, I get it, but it's really a good idea to see if you can come up with 3 people to be named as guardians of the person and 3 people to be named as guardians of the estate. What's also important to think about in terms of nominating guardians is, do I put the people in charge of the money also in charge of the kids? Sorry, money, kids. All right, let's do risks and benefits. First one. If you want it to be as simple as possible, it makes sense to have the guardians of the person be in charge of the money as well, so they can do everything, manage the money, pay the bills. They don't have to go ask someone for money. It's really simplified. There's not a lot of oversight though, so you can see why it might be something you'd like to do, which is to separate those 2 roles. Have someone in charge of the kid and someone in charge of their money, so there's a little bit of checks and balances. The downside to that one is they've got to ask this person for money, right? The upside is we're sharing the burden, right? It's a lot to take care of kids and also manage money. So it might be in their best interest to have those 2 separated. So one's really good at managing money and one is really good with kids. Maybe those roles are just better separated. I think that's mostly for the guardianship, what you need to think about when you're naming a guardian. The last thing is, some people want to name couples. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But just you need to think about, if that couple is not a couple anymore, do you want one person or the other to be the guardian? Or if they're not a couple, you want to skip them entirely and go down to the next level. So we'll ask you those questions during our meetings when we're talking about guardians, right? What happens if this? What happens if this? So think about those sorts of things as you're brainstorming who you want to be guardians of your kids. All right, hope that was helpful for guardianship.